Imagine you're at home, you're relaxing, it's your day off, you're watching TV, you could be reading a book, or you're cleaning. Well, Andrew Finch, he's a 28-year-old man with two kids. He was at home, at his parents' house, actually helping his mother clean up the house. And he heard a knock at the door. Unfortunately, when he opened the door, he was shot instantly. What did he do wrong? Nothing. He was unfortunately a victim between a dispute between two people in a prank. The Canadian press, March 29th, 2019, they call this swatting, which means doing a fake 911 phone call to try to get a SWAT team at someone's house. My fiance was actually affected by this back when we were in high school together. He was in class and he was minding his own business, taking a test when the cops came and they called him out. They asked him, saying, "Do you have a weapon?" And he said, "No, all I brought to school was my pencil." We didn't even have lockers, so it's not like he had anywhere to hide it. Unfortunately, the cops didn't believe him, and then they put him in a mental institute for 72 hours. Because of what he's gone through, it kind of increased my interest on why people call and fake call these kind of things. So because of that, I began doing more research on this topic and even watching the videos on these live swatting that happen. So the Canadian press also mentioned that this is actually an emerging threat to the FBI since 2008 because of new technology. We're able to do more fake phone calls to the point that anyone can be a victim. That's why you should worry about this, because you could be sitting at home minding your business, you get a knock on your door, and there's a SWAT team. So today, I'm going to give a SWAT to the pranksters. First, we're going to examine how innocent people are victims to this, how many innocent people we have that are victims to this. Second, we're going to talk about two main factors that drives a person to take such an action, to call or to even commit this crime. And lastly, I want to provide necessary steps on hopefully ways to prevent new victims. Pranking is a huge thing in the gaming community. And because of this, victims and the cost of all of this has become a rising factor since 2008. 2008 is a very important number if you haven't noticed, because this is when technology first came. A news article that was released December 30th, 2017 by national TV had discussed that there's been over 400 incidents per year, but unfortunately, this is the first death that we've ever had. October 9th, 2019, the Canadian press had actually released another article discussing how one man had called 31 times, and this cost $180,000 in the police office. And because of that, most people don't even know they're victims, because you got people like this who think it's funny to call 31 times. UPI Sports had wrote an article August 12th, 2019, that a 16-year-old boy had won a championship. He was so excited, he hears a knock on his door, gets up, he's live streaming, he gets up to go check the door, and he got swatted. And luckily, the cops left after 10 minutes of discussing the issue. Some people are unfortunate though, like a 21-year-old named Robert Richard. According to Philadelphia Daily News, they wrote on May 28th, 2015, that 20 cop cars had came to his front door, charged inside, and handcuffed his father and mother. And he was freaking out, and the mother felt, to the point, emotionally scarred because they weren't expecting that. Now that we've learned about how people can be innocent victims, let's talk about why there are so many. Usually it's because of negative emotions and having access to this technology. These are the two main factors on the reason why we have so many of these 911 fake calls. The Canadian press had made a statement saying that maybe it's because these people resent cops. But the other reasons could be maybe someone wants to get revenge on an employer, or maybe they're getting revenge on an upset lover, or like the gaming community, they're getting revenge because they're jealous. Because of this, handheld devices have been evolving over 13 years since the iPhone was released in 2007. Because of that, there's so many fake apps, there's so many apps that you can make fake numbers on that's so easy to call and not get caught. Acorn Beacon Journal had wrote June 4th, 2015, that it's really easy to use this fake app to make it seem like the victim's calling from their own phone. Now that we know how easy it is to fake a phone call, here's how we can probably solve the solution. So a few solutions have been brought up throughout years, and one bill had passed in the Assembly Homeland Security Committee, and it was basically to hopefully get a scare tactic and maybe make people think that there's prison and that there's so many charges. Unfortunately, this didn't work. So I propose that maybe for the Assembly Homeland Security Committee, maybe we can raise the federal and state charges from 150,000 to maybe higher, and we can probably even like make prison time a minimum of 10 years to maximum 30 years depending on these charges. Now, if you turn your point to here, if you look at my little TV like always, you will see a little flow chart from the 1980s all the way to current times. So as you can see from here in 1968, this is where we started having our basic 911 phone calls. And because of technology evolving, we're at about 2020s where we have better technology like computers, web cameras, we have texting, we can send messages. Unfortunately, 911 phone calls are still between the 90s where you just do a phone call. Because of this, there's been a discussion of a new way to send information to 911 phone call or 911 calls, and this new system's called Next Generation. And basically, it's where you call 911, but you're using the internet. So you can send them a text, you can send a picture of the crime scene, you can send them even a video of evidence while it's happening. Makes it easier for 911 to come immediately and be able for them to know what's fake and what's not fake. And this was stated by All Things Considered Journal, January 1st, 2018. They also go further into discussing how maybe a picture or the video of the crime scene, would help 911 understand, oh, we need to get there faster compared to a 911 phone call, and it's fake, there's no injury. You may not think that this will affect you, but you never know, if someone's going to make a phone call. And now you know a lot more about pranks. Because first we talked about the common pranks. We talked about how innocent people can be victims. Second, we talked about how emotions and technology could be the leading cause to this. And lastly, we talked about new scare tactics. Andrew Finch had nothing to do with it, and yet his life was still lost. So I really hope this doesn't happen to anyone and we can fix this problem.